Okay, so it seems like that there's a lot to talk about. Like, it does seem like there's a lot going on. Um, I don't even think I could remember all of the different things. One thing I definitely have noticed on TikTok, what I am seeing energetically is like a lot of transformation. A lot of transformation. Even I just saw this one empath girl who acknowledged or had the realization and acknowledgement of we should never be telling someone else what to do on their path. For us, and she was going through like the whole explanation of how that's ego and stuff. And it's like, yeah, that's the thing is people have got to see, like, you got to just allow everybody their own path and their own experience and allow them and their inner guidance to start being what is guiding them, not the voices outside of them. Not anybody knows better for anybody else. Your soul knows everything, and that's inside of you speaking. So to me, the whole thing is getting people to realize that, getting people to realize this world is not what you think, and the importance of the interconnection and how it's transformative. I just saw this woman, and she was bawling all through her whole video. And she was like, I just want you guys to know that you can really heal yourself. You can just heal yourself. And when you do, it will start affecting your family. And she's bawling. Like, they'll start healing. And then she's like, starts talking about, it's the first time ever that she really didn't want her mom to leave. And then she said that her oldest son is on his healing journey, and she was bawling. So I don't even know what was going on in his life. But she said, we're really changing generational trauma. That's what we're doing here. And I was just like, it's like a beautiful thing for people to realize the depth of what's happening, to get down out of the surface and start seeing really the transformation and the evolution, the real, that's totally transforming. It's transforming anybody who wants to be transformed. I mean, a lot of people probably aren't ready for it or whatever, but the what was I saying? But seeing that those people, seeing like certain things that people are realizing and talking about, that is really exciting, because, people are going to see you don't need all these freaking fancy life coaches and shit like that. You don't fucking need a life coach. You just need somebody to tell you how to listen to your own. It's inside of you. Listen to someone else say what works for them. I mean, you can go around and listen to see what works, but just don't be like, oh, it works for them, so it'll work for me. That's where you can go out and get as many ideas, as many perspectives, as many flight plans, and see like how that worked for them to give yourself reference. But don't get caught up in thinking, oh, if I do what they're doing, it's going to work for me in the same way. It won't. Their stuff is different. What they're learning is different. What they're perceiving is different. What they're supposed to perceive is different. It's a totally different flight plan. So you have to, the whole journey is to self, not to, who's the smartest, who's the most clever, who's the most connected. None of that. It's the journey's to self. Everybody's equally connected. It's just, some of us have more acknowledgement of it because we've been aware of it for a long time. Like, this whole thing, the way it has been happening, it's been fascinating for some of us who have a certain perspective, a certain background, a certain view of life and where we're coming from. And that's why I think there's a purpose to all of it, because it's very, very trippy. When you start seeing it, which I'll just say real quick too, I did do the turpentine yesterday. It just kept feeling like there's a squirming around, and it's like, what the hell is going on? It's creepy. And so I did a teaspoon of turpentine over a tablespoon of sugar. And last time, remember, I said it made me burp and burp and burp, and it's like burping at pine salt. And if your house was cleaned with pine salt when you're a kid, it's very like, ugh, it's very disgusting. And so this time, I think I like burped one time. And when I was looking for the videos to get the measurements again, because I couldn't remember, and I saw some different people saying, and one of the girls the one that gave that a mix, she said that she did it, and she said that her burping and farting was like beyond what you can even imagine. She said, I'm not saying just a little burping and farting. I'm telling you, be prepared if you do this. And she said, I think it depends on the toxins and stuff you have in you and what needs to come out. And that I haven't had any of these reactions like what I'm seeing people talk about and stuff, like the toilets filling with worms, and the what was that other one? Oh, and her, like, even with that one, I mean, I had a few burps, but nothing seemed, the only thing that seemed gross to me was the taste that kept coming up of pine sol taste, you know? And so then but nothing seemed extreme. I didn't see a fucking worm anywhere. And so then when I did it again, so I think that was like 3 weeks ago, and then it was barely, but anyways, I'm really thinking that it's the kombucha, because I drink kombucha and I drink homemade. I don't drink the grocery store one. So I drink really pure kombucha. And, you know, that really builds the good bacteria in your gut, which defeats the bad bacteria. So get your whole system working. So, you know, gassiness and bloating and all that stuff comes from the too much bad bacteria. And so you need more good bacteria so that to get it in balance. And so once I did that, it totally changed my gut. But I'm thinking it's more significant than that. You know, just when I heard that girl with the turpentine thing, and then and saying about all that, as soon as she said that, I thought the kombucha came in my mind, and I was like, oh, if she's having all this gut, like the turpentine is going in, and like all this, because bacteria essentially is microscopic parasites that are living off of the debris in your gut. You know, and they're taking all the nutrition out, so that, you know, there's a whole imbalance to it. And then that's why there's a problem with the processing foods, why people have all this IBS and all of these gut problems, is because of the imbalance that's created by our diet full of toxins and additives. So anyways, you know, I've been pushing on the kombucha ever since I discovered it, and, you know, even to the point of making my own, and you get better at it and better at it. And that's another thing too throughout this process. Like, that's something I could develop into a money-making thing for myself. Like, you start doing things or just developing yourself, going into things you're interested in and finding out more about things. And pretty soon, you know, you're able to do something that other people can't do. And then you have something that somebody will pay you, barter, trade, or whatever for something that you could do, you know, depending on if they can do something that you need or whatever. Like, there's a whole thing with bartering when you have more and more to offer. Like, I can trade this, I can trade that, I can trade this, you know, and go over there and get this. And then it's also the reprioritizing of what it is you think you need, and what skills do you have for yourself. Like, you know, I would not ever have to go buy clothes if I didn't want to, because I would always be able to sew my own clothes. But I would have to, you know, get fabric. And so I would need some kind of thing to trade with that. But anyways, with the kombucha, like, you know, I've gotten pretty good at making the kombucha. I've gotten fucking good at making the biscotti. Like, I could go and, you know, sell that. And, you know, I mean, there's going to be little markets, you know, like kind of like farmers markets that would develop in communities where people will go up to kind of barter, sell, trade their stuff. That is kind of something that hasn't really left our culture, but it's just been more nomadic where these festivals travel around. You know, it used to be, though, flea markets and stuff, but there's a lot of stuff, man, that they put an end to in the 80s and 90s. I mean, 80s and 90s is definitely when they turned stuff in another direction, and I just keep seeing more and more confirmation about that. And not only that, I've seen other people mention that that's when they think everything went so dark. And I think, that's what I think. And I saw this lady, she was just talking about this out rural on the way to Fort Hood, I think, in Texas. And she was telling some stories and stuff, but like is a portal kind of situation where things can go, and that is what I am. And I bet you there's way more bases around portal. I bet you Highway 51, I bet the whole area around there has something weird with the time space, just like in Oregon by those salt flats. I'm telling you, it is, you can just tell when you go into a place that is a portal. It's a different time and space. And, just, I think some people move through those portals without, like people have been on some road trips and pulled up and they're in a different time, or they're in, there was one where this person pulled up, and I think that they weren't giants, but they were giant people. But they all looked weird. They looked like you were definitely in a different place. And it freaked the people out, and ran and jumped and got in their cars and took off. But I've heard a lot of those kinds of stories like that. So, and I just 100%, I know, like, this world is that. It's just realities, and it's like an expansion. It's like we're on a petal of a flower, and we don't understand all of the rest of the life that's happening on the flower. Like, we're just on the end of this little petal, and we think, that's all that there is, but there is a whole world going on inside of that flower. And so that is kind of like what it is here. Even, God, my muscles are fucking killing me, I'm telling you. Is like what it is here too, is like it's just realms of existence, and it depends on your respect for life, is to your value for the existence of all things. And that's why there's so many weird things, I think, that's kind of coming to the surface, is to really get people to understand, yeah, all of those things exist. All of these realms exist. Like, you got these weird creatures coming up on the ocean. A whale washed up the other day. That is sad. But, over there in California, like I had said, I knew California, there's some bad stuff. Like, I said that when I got back from my road trip there, that I knew some really bad stuff was going to happen there. You could just tell, you just pick up on the energy, just the way that, and just knowing, what the universe is doing here. And, I know people think like it's tragic and stuff like that, but it really is. The universe is giving opportunities to awaken and grow. And so, being there, and just, the pollution, the towers, what people are willing to live, and just that whole, there is a certain thing with California, how Californians can get very, they think they're better than other people. Like, California's got it all going on. Californians are, they're the best and stuff like that. They're kind of very ego and very shallow. So all of those things are what, those were things that could exist in the realm that we were in, of that experience, for that, like, vibration. But since that has to end, then, it has to purge out. And so that, that kind of stuff won't be able to go forward. It has to be purged out. And then, depending on every soul, what they came in to experience, because, some souls came in to grow and go into the next part. Some came just to experience, uh, that kind of lifestyle, the lessons that they could learn from that. And you got to see too is like your soul, like how everything is at once. Your soul is experiencing all of these different realities, but it is in it learning, but it has a very defined lesson plan. Like being, and it's so, like I'm not trying to be evasive or anything. It's just so endless. It's endless, the lesson plans. Like, an example would just be like the things you would come in and learn at this one area would be the other things that you would learn would be associated with it, could be from this other time. And so in these different times, just like what I was talking about, like back in the, I don't know, 1600, there's been a lot of times throughout time that they have had this duty versus love experience where, just like in Wuthering Heights, where she picked security over love, and then she was haunted by her choice. And so, that is kind of something that has been played out by souls time after time after time. And so different times allow different experiences. And so then you go in at different times. So the time period right now is very unique in California's history. It is very shallow. It's very, expressive, but it's also artificial and phony, and people are just comfortable in such a phony, artificial existence. So there's a lot of stuff to learn from that, in so many different things. And so it would be like associated with your stuff that you were already learning. So all I'm saying about that is, don't feel sorry. I mean, it is going to seem super tragic, 100%. Every fucking thing is going to seem super tragic. There's going to be mass loss. And it's going to seem horrible. But, as a soul, as an energetic being, we have to really acknowledge the fact that that's what that soul came in to do. That's it. They weren't cut short. Their life wasn't cut short. They didn't lose out on anything. They came in and did the exact experience they wanted to experience, and then they left. And they leave in a way to create the next lessons for the next people, so that you have to go through loss. You have to go through guilt, pain, suffer, all of your stuff. So it's just like a domino in your life, how the person leaves you. And so it's not like, it doesn't mean it's super sad or tragic. I mean, to us, it seems horrible, like a 9-year-old dies or something. Which, another thing that I had been saying, I even sent this one to my daughter, is this is what I had been saying. There's going to be tons of suicide. There's going to be tons of horrible domestic violent, mass family murder, suicide situations. I said this in 2015 and 2016. I was telling my kids, especially my one daughter, who were, I think 2 of them were in mental health at the time. But I was telling them, like, you need to, because the one daughter who was working with the homeless in the Catholic Charities, she was working with all drug people and mentally ill people. And then my other daughter, she's a social worker. And so I had said, you're going to see, this is what's going to happen. This is, as we're transforming. I don't even remember how, because my perspective, like, I knew some things, but man, 2020 gave me so much more clarity. So I don't even remember for sure. I just remember I kept telling him, all this stuff's going to happen. There's going to be tons of storms. There's going to be tons of people are going to die. There's going to be tons of natural disasters. There's going to be tons of suicide, and there's going to be tons of horrible crimes and big domestic violence, like horrible things. And, I've said that's going to be happening over the next few years, and it's all of a sudden it's going to really pick up. And I said that, it's everything, we're going to turn the other direction. It's not going to keep going that way. But when things get really bad during this transformation, people are going to freak out. They're not going to know how to handle it. So they're going to start killing themselves and killing their families and stuff. I didn't at the time, I don't think I saw how much relationships, like all the domestic violence, the murder, suicide thing I just saw today was all of these were families where the wife had left the husband, and then he was like, no, that's not happening. Goes in, and one of, I think they were all in Utah. One of them was like, fuck, 6 kids or something, a whole bunch of kids. The girl said between those 3 that had just happened, that the 3 men who, you know, couldn't handle rejection or whatever, killed 10 kids altogether. So, and then plus the spouses and then themselves. So it's a lot of it, but there's going to keep being this stuff. And even in those tragedies, like if you got into going in and reading like near-death experiences and, you know, there's so much stuff that can give you peace about this stuff. Like, this isn't stuff I'm just like making up. This is information that has been brought to me and shown to me, and things that they have told me, which, by the way, like right now, lately, I feel like kind of like a surgeon in a surgical den or whatever. I can't think of what it's called. But then up in the window, that the doctor who knows what the hell they're doing is telling me what to do, and it's trippy. But some of the stuff, oh my God, some of the stuff that they tell me, I'm just like, oh my gosh, that is so profound. And there's so many things that is just how we have been looking at things just wrong. Man, when I think it's Q or Trump or something like that, one of them, or it might have been both of them, I know on the post of the one letter that he was always saying, you gotta look deeper, look at the other side and stuff like that. And it is so true. It is like, but it's a hard concept until you start understanding it and start being able to see it. And then, you know, it's just crazy. Some of the stuff is just mental. Let me think. What the one thing I feel like I'm jumping around, but there was some things. So all the death. Oh, because the souls, yeah. Because, you know, when they go, you know, they're all going together. Like there's a purpose to them all going together like that. You know, it's really hard, I think, for people to really understand, just because the programming, how people have been taught to look at it. But through this transformation, like when I heard that spiritual girl freaking say, like, you know, we can't, anytime that we are going and putting our desires into someone else's reality, that isn't right. You can't tell somebody else what to do or how to do it. They have to figure it out for themselves. It's just a part of how a soul needs to develop. And it's why they have been so fucking up our asses our whole fucking life. And even in school, do it because you're told. Do it because you're told. What do they tell parents? Do it because I'm your parent. Do it because you're told. They don't want us to develop ourselves. They want us to stay in a state of confusion from the get, man. It starts out like. So, you know, and I know as this is transforming, because of the things they show me and tell me, I know we're moving into a completely different way of development. And it is really super cool because they show me in my head how it works and stuff, and how it's different. And so anyways, it's very interesting, but I think there's going to be such a transformation. There's going to be a ton of people who are going to leave. And, you know, right now there's tons leaving in California too. And so, and I've seen footage where people are saying there's lots of dead people being taken away. And there's something with the water switching from salt to, there's going to be some kind of a thing. It's like happening, and it goes in cycles too. I heard a girl explaining it. It was like in San Francisco, the bay used to be fresh water, and then blah, blah, blah happens and it switches. But she said, we're in this process right now. As this is occurring, this is going to switch back. And so the way she explained it and stuff, I was like, oh yeah, definitely. I think she's right, because of this is the earth is readjusting itself. And I saw a bunch more of footage on that today. Like, that is something they really, really, it's like they want people to understand and to relax, but you know, you're gonna be where you're supposed to be. So this is one of these things is coming to take you out. Like, there's no running from it. Like, seriously, like, I just see this other person with the volcanoes are about to go, and they said Mount St. Helen, Yellowstone, and another one. And I was like, they're just, you know, we just have to relax and just be like, okay, this is the earth readjusting. Our souls are growing, and you know, we can, even if I've seen this kind of in my head since the beginning, and I'm not sure, and I'm pretty sure I talked about it before. But I really have thought this the whole time, is during this cataclysmic event, as the earth completely shifts and readjusts, which more with those maps, you know, I think it's happening right now. I just don't know how fast it's going to happen all at once, but it's definitely happening right now. And so is, you know, and I think, you know, people should take that into account. What the Navy is projecting that the map is going to look like. And then I don't even know if that's Forbes was just like putting it and calling it the Doomsday Map. I just know it was the naval projection map. And so, anyways, let me think what I was saying. So the earth is readjusting, like I said, kind of like, it's kind of like just stretching, like it's been abused in all those areas for so long. And so those areas have to kind of go underwater so that they can corrode away, go into the lost realms of the past existence, you know. So the water has to go in and cover the mud and stuff. People get all freaked out about mud floods and stuff like that, but it is the resets. And the problem is that the government just keeps lying, and it could have something to do with I know it has to do with fucking control for sure, but you know, it could have something to do with, because we're in a period of a reset, and that they don't know what to do. You know, that they're as confused as the rest of us. So anyways, but they're trying to control things and profit off of it, instead of, you know, us all coming together and being honest and telling the truth. So to me, you know, in the footage I'm seeing of what's going on in the floods and stuff like that, it's like, yeah, there's already, I don't remember what city it is. I think it is in Southern California. In the footage I had saw someone talking about that, they said it's already underwater totally. The whole town is totally underwater. Like, that town's just gone, and it will never be back. And so I was like, man, there's going to be more and more of that. That is the reset. That is this going. And so when I had said, wouldn't surprise me with all of this rain if they're not going to just come in and hit them with the earthquake during this. And so, funny enough, now I've seen so many things talking about that. And so there was something in, it was like a scientist or something in 2011, and he had predicted something about that there was going to be these 3 big major storms that were going to come in and hit California. And when these big storms came in and hit, that it was going to, because of the unsettling with so much water, it was going to mess the plates up, and that it was going to cause the big earthquake in California to be gone. That's it. It's going to be underwater. And and then when you keep seeing all of these different people with their predictive, their dreams, prophetic dreams, and you know, all saying the same kind of thing, and I mean, when I lived in Southern California, they were seeing it then, that California was going to fall off into the water. It used to freak me out, wasn't, you know, when they would say that. So, you know, I've seen other people now talking about the storms. Like, I'm glad I left California, man. I took the warnings. Like, they've been all the way back when I lived there. It was always a warning. California is going to be underwater. California is going to fall off the rest of the country. And I think that's what's about to go down. And I think it's going to be really, really fucked. I think it's going to be really fucked. And that is going to, I guess there's a movie in 2004 called The Day After or something, and it shows, people have been sharing this footage freaking out because the footage that they show in the movie is the same looking footage as they're showing the storms that are about to hit California. So I don't know what all happens in the movie, but it would definitely be like predictive disclosure programming, you know. I was thinking, because I don't normally watch any of this Armageddon, zombie, you know, big box office, fucking superhero shit. I'm not into that stuff. But I might go in and watch this one just to see like what they say is going to happen. But in that, apparently the storms do something with the plate and cause this big earthquake to happen. And so, you know, we're having the storms. And I think, because if this is going to be, you know, if that is going to be what's going to go, that's going to be where it's going to start going, this whole thing. It's going to go up to Seattle for sure. This is going to go hit, I mean, we've already got problems down. It's going to be over by, see, I think that one guy, the scientist from 11 said it was going to happen by Cabo and go all the way up. But he could have said another one, but definitely someplace by Mexico. It was going to happen, and then it was going to go all the way up, and it's going to, I don't know, just, the plates are going to just start shifting. Like that footage, I saw that fucking, in Guinea, I think it was, the earthquake there. Oh, my Lord. That was so scary looking. Oh, man. Oh, fuck. I just, man, my brother's a fireman there. That shit starts going in LA. He's an LA fireman. Like, motherfucker. Like, and they've already got sinkholes happening. And they were putting those movies out already. The sinkholes. And the sinkholes happen. It goes down into other realities. Because they can only hold together a certain reality. And it's getting harder and harder for them. That's why they're doing this reduction in population and trying to move us all into a 15-minute fucking city. It's because they just want to keep themselves alive. They're scared shitless of dying, but they don't have any choice anymore. I think so many of them are just being... I think that there's a lot of that going on. And I mean, each day, another thing to come out on Joe, each fucking day. And my mom said, because she's been watching the news, and she said, it's weird. Like, she said, she's like, there's some weird shit going on the news. And I said, because I keep telling her, I said, you'll see, this is going to go in this other direction, because she's constantly worrying, you know, we're all going to end up in the camps and stuff. It's like, no. But she thinks, you know, she's going to be raptured out before that happens, but that's where the planet's headed. It's like, no, that's not. That is what you're programmed to believe. This is a reset. The earth is having its own catastrophe. And so, like, what I was saying was, to me, is like, so the earth is having its own catastrophe, its own reset. And so, as us being conscious beings, like, she's not going to die from all this. She's just going to, you know, roll over, get rid of the garbage, put it down somewhere else, and put up beautiful lands where we're going to go into. Everything's going to be more tropical. Man, when I look at that map and I think of this area and I think of how I was placed here, and if it goes away, like, if it really does go where everything, I'm no longer attached to the U.S., the only way out of here is through Canada, then it would be, yeah, I mean, it would be very exclusive, that's for sure, but it would be like right down. Man, I'd always wanted waterfront property. And then when I had first moved over here, and I had even said something to my kids about the water is going to be coming up, and that's when I thought it was only going to be coming up out to more rural. That's when I started hearing, no, it's going to go in like 300 miles. So that's all Washington State being gone. But this little mountain range that I'm attached to is going to stay afloat or something. I think, I don't know. That's the thing. I could be, still underwater. Fuck, I don't know. But but it's all going to be tropical everywhere. But oh my gosh, this would be a fucking cool ass spot if this was, just over at the edge like that. Like, man, I would feel so fortunate if this place survives that, and I really do get it, follow through on all that work. Because even if that's, the stuff for my intention and stuff, and when I'm manifesting, it's like the universe will either give you that, or it's going to put you somewhere with something better. It's going, the universe, my higher self has a plan already. Whatever I do to humor myself through the plan, that's, but they talk to me all the time, and tell me stuff all the time. So, but anyways, so when the planet does this adjustment and we are all like dying off or whatever, she is readjusting. I think it's something that we can, that if you're consciously aware, then you can stay in your light body on the planet and have that heaven on earth experience. But I think that definitely there's some sort of a transformation in us. But like that one time when I was driving and I was thinking about that, and all of a sudden they showed me, and it was, however they showed me while I was driving, and they said it's not going to feel any different than that. It's going to feel very, like you're not even going to be able to notice. So it's not going to be like you notice that you're with this thing that you think is flesh and blood. But it's like when the lights go out and this reset happens, like I don't know. I don't know if this is the big whole thing and it's about to go down. Like California goes and it starts crumbling. Oh my gosh. But there's going to be a part of California that's out further. It would have to be one of the mountain ranges, I'm sure. But it's going to be out further, and it's going to create the California islands in this map. So there's going to be some islands out there. But there's most of California is going to be gone. And man, there was I was trying to think, over by the Mississippi, there is some places that are gonna be gone. Like, I lived anywhere over there. Like, definitely, like I don't know. Louisiana is gonna be gone. It seems like Kentucky is gonna have some. I don't know. Maybe Kentucky is gonna be completely gone. I don't know. You'd have to go look at that map, but there is a huge amount of damage through the middle of our country. That's for sure. To me, on some of the maps, it looks like we won't even be able to cross without like a ferry or something to get from one side to the other. And I don't know if it's going to divide off more, just like if this area would be attached to Canada. I don't know if we're just going to bust off more into some sort of different districts because of the readjustment of how the whole thing's going to become different land masses. So, but to me, it is, you got to do your healing and stuff so that you are consciously aware of what's going on. And you do have the realization that there is no death. The only death that occurs is your dissolving your connection to a certain reality. And when they create death, then it is like they put that into your mind. And so you have to break that and see, that there isn't really any death. And so anyways, whatever is going to be. So and it's going to be quick. My mom said on the news that Kamala's just sitting there like all like excited, like she can't wait for Joe to be taken out. It's like she's going out with him. If she doesn't go on the same day, she's going to be going the day after or something. It's going to go boom, boom, boom. McCarthy, he now has said he wants all of the evidence to be shown from the January, the date that, you're not allowed to speak of. The date we're not allowed to speak of. Where they try and say, like, they were in so much danger. Motherfuckers, we're the ones in danger because people are outraged and coming for you. And nobody even they just wanted to go out there and march around with their signs. The cops were the ones letting them in. Come on in. It was a setup. Like, I knew it was going to be a setup from the fucking beginning as soon as I heard the whole thing. And then that is one of the first times where I had to look at Trump and go, like, why are you doing this when you know what's going to happen? And, but, he's got, the way that things have to be shown is just, it's this other side. You have to look at it deeper. And he has to be as fooled. He has to show himself as being abused and foolish and treated like this. Like, he has to, in order to get people to see and to wake up. So, certain things have to play out. He can't say, hey, we should all go over here and really protest. But, I know they're going to, arrest you guys. They're going to do some bullshit. Because we had to see how corrupt our government was. And the people who went and played those parts, those roles, even though they can't remember because they're deep in the role, that's what they came to do. They came to play those roles. They came to wake us up. They came to get us to see. There's a lot of martyrs out there for humanity, a lot of people who, are throwing themselves so that others can wake up. But anyways, I think that whatever is going to go down is going to be fucking scary. Like, oh my God, I would hate to be there for that. If that's going to be just these, man, they are in day after tomorrow situation over there. It's just like getting hit with one thing after another. And they got a tornado, fucking tornado on top of it. I saw footage of this woman. And she was like, the tornado just came out of nowhere. And she was like hysterical. And they were all out standing in the streets looking at the aftermath. And when it came, apparently they pulled up, jumped out of their car, ran in a building. And they were all in the building. And so then they all came out. And oh my God. That is when I looked at that, I was like, yeah, this is why the fucking mud flood has to happen. It has to just take all of this. And the things that will be left will be like in the movies. They'll be grown over. There'll be places, creepy places where people go to see what life used to be like. It's not going to be, there's no going back. We're not going to rebuild these cities. We're not going to rebuild skyscrapers. It's going to be very different. And so, the skyscrapers, because there's still going to be some, this will probably be I think it's today's Friday, so it's like more like this evening, the main cyclone is going to hit California, the biggest one. I'm pretty sure the middle one hit yesterday. And so then they get like 48 hours or something. Then the next one comes and it's the big one. That's the way worse one. And already everything's drenched and everything's going in mudslides. And they've got such a fucking mess, man. And then the earthquake starts going because now the plates they're all jacked. So then the earthquake's going to start going and start splitting that stuff. Oh my God. what a fucking terror show. God, it's crazy. Like, there's some things where I'm just like, why would some souls want that experience? Some souls are daredevils. That's horrendous to me. And that one footage of that earthquake in the Guinea one, I mean, as the lands were shifting and splitting apart, and there was giant gaps, and they were all, oh my God, it was terrifying. And they were jumping, just like in the movie, where you just have to run and jump to the next one and try and get to a stable place. And they're jumping off of all these land that is moving. It's totally crazy. And that's what's going to happen over there. And I probably will be, then there'll be that's going to set off our volcanoes. That's going to set off the tsunami that's going to come in and take down New York probably. But in those earthquakes and water things are going to take down all those big buildings. Like, there may be some, but a lot of that, I think, will be taken down with these disasters. And then it is going to be the people, who are here for the rebuild, because there is going to be, it's crazy because it's going to be, part of it is going to be kind of like it's going to be starting over. I mean, it's going to be for sure starting over, but we're also going to have huge advancements in the restart because it's going to be more fluid, I think, because they've never had a restart where it's been like this, where, we're actively trying to create into the new realm. Like, from what I understand and stuff, is like that they've never had living souls go through this before. Like, this is going to be the first time that we've ever done it for the ones of us who do. And see, that's the whole thing where so many are going to be going off on ships. But see, if this was that right now, they would be taking them. Like, they would have to be taking them. Like, it seems like to me, it's going to be just this constant disasters, the continuous truth and stuff coming out, in this continuous waking of this slow kind of dramatic awakening for each person in their independent lives. Lots of loss, lots of traumas, lots of that kind of stuff is going to continue. Lots of still people trying to, go down to Best Buy and this happened and that happened. I mean, there's still people trying to go out to restaurants and go to movies and do all this stuff. Like, life can just go back to what it was. But those ones could be also their souls telling them, better get it while it's hot. You're about to leave this place. I mean, we have no idea. So we just have to allow everybody their own process. So in the disasters and the reshifting, and some of us are going to be in certain places, like I've said, when they fucking start saying evacuate, unless trees are coming down on top of my house, I'm going to try and stay, because to me, that's the fucking trap. Get out there in their fucking evacuation on the 5 and head for Seattle when they're fucking half the country's falling off into the water and tsunamis and shit are coming up. Fuck that. They are going to have, oh my God, the evacuation will be the disaster. I mean, for Washington, because that is the whole fucking thing. Like, when you come, as soon as you come in Washington State, like right over by Olympia and Tacoma, and so you come in, I think it's like 75, 100 miles or something like that you're just driving through, the space between. It's not as inhabited with California and Oregon. Then you get to where the cities are. It's right up at the ocean. You're right over there. And so then that is right when you come in, and then you kind of turns, and Seattle's right there. So you have SeaTac, Olympia. So it's the capital, and then Tacoma, and then you have SeaTac. So this in between, kind of like DFW, but it's way closer than Dallas is to Fort Worth. But so it has like their little thing. for Tacoma and Seattle. And so Seattle kind of twists all over there on that peninsula. And I don't know when the water is coming up, like, man, it's going to be a map, like whatever is going to go down. All you got to do is look at the map and you can kind of guess. I mean, especially when you can see what's happening. And then they've already said, like, I mean, I heard people talking about on the East Coast saying, what is the likelihood that for the first time ever we have a cyclone over here and then the next week there's 3 that hit California? Like, what's the chances of that? And it's like, yeah, you know, this one is going to also back up and do something over there because they're just like, I don't know, badmintoning storms or something with their HARP machines. I mean, they're actively, the spraying of stuff I see in people's skies that people share the footages. Like, man, but if you go out and you see the sky without spray, like, you can see something's fucking going on. Like, something's about to go down. Like, so, and that is the thing where I still don't know if that is going to be the big thing that's going to happen. Man, it is really, like, there's just no way to know. There's just certain things that have to go down with awakening and the reset. And then it is going to be, though, that survivor, you know we can do better, healing kind of attitude that is going to be what the Age of Aquarius is all about. Appreciation, love, gratitude, acceptance of other people's journey, of other people's choices, and independence, and being able to take care of yourself and feed yourself, clothe yourself, all of that stuff. And, you know, it's not be like we're traveling around in wagon trains, because there's going to be technology will start coming. But I think a lot of stuff, it's not going to be like manufacturing big giant warehouses where people go all day long and sit there and make, you know, like egg cars all day. It's not going to be like that. I think it'll be a lot more like, you know, everybody will have their own 3D printer, you know, of your own, or maybe there'll be one in a community and you go up and you want something, you'll just print it out. I think it's going to be something way more sophisticated than, I mean, all of that industry and stuff was created to enslave us, to keep us working, you know, so we didn't have time to work on ourselves. So, you know, and they've had their whole development throughout that. And we've all come in to play different parts throughout these different opportunities for this weird place. Like, this place is weird. That's what I think. But anyways, so the, I think the California thing could definitely happen over the next week or something. And there's some big thing about something with March, or some kind of date in March that's really big. And it's still something about this, the 20th and stuff. Like, there's still, you know, things that are happening to lead us that date could be significant. Like, I mean, they could take Joe out. What is today, the 13th? That'd be funny. I don't know. They would do it on a date that means something to the Masonics or something like that. You know, it'd be something, date that is significant to them, that they'll do this stuff. That's what they keep doing. Is even when they announced the Pope's death, apparently he was put a while back, but even when they announced that, it had some significance on the date thing. So, like, to us, it could be like Friday, or, oh, it is Friday the 13th. Today's Friday is the 13th, I'm pretty sure. Oh, that would be funny. But that would have significance to us. But I don't know if it has significance to them. But, you know, I mean, they could take him down. Like, I mean, when they keep bringing these papers out, you know, that he stole, you know, all of his followers, then they have to question their own ethics, their own morals, you know. Well, it was not okay for him, but is it okay for him? Like, they have to readjust their own compass, their own balance. So that's why, like, it's slowly, because people have to process, like, you know. So then they've got 3 of them now. So they hit them harder and harder. It's got to get absurd to really force them to. But there's still a lot of people who aren't even paying attention or noticing. But this will be one of the things that's just going to. I mean, they've got it on the news. It's going to be one of those things that's not going to go away. Where you kind of like, somebody's talking about something and they're like, what are you talking about? You don't know? It's been going on for weeks. You know, it's going to be one of those things like, maybe I should pay better attention. You know, that's part of each soul's learning development as well. So, but that is in their own unique flight plan, how that comes to be. And so, if the people, let me think what I was saying. Because if the, God, I keep going back. No matter what, I just keep seeing California. So if that, oh yeah, because, oh yeah, okay, so Joe with the 3 of those, so like another one could be today, but in all these different things that are being investigated, like you know that they already knew about them, but so that they're being investigated, then whatever's going to be said, it will be something, or it will be, I wish it would be today, God, I wish it would be today, that there'll be some sort of arrest, some sort of a removal, like I don't know what process they'll do. It'll be something. And then I think if they have Kamala, like if it goes that fast like that to get us to the 20th, like they could do some like slap in the face to her, do it the 19th, the last hour. So she thinks right up into the last minute. And and then she gets it. So, I don't know. I mean, I would think that any stupid ass smile that she had would be out of nervousness, personally. I don't see how you can't be knowing you're going down, sister. Like, seriously. Like, these people have got to be feeling the walls closing in on them. Like, they've got to know some of their people are gone. Like, I think, I mean, there could be people who didn't know Hillary very well, and they go around her and think that's really her. And I mean, I guess they still have a fake Nancy out there and stuff. Like, they have a lot of fakes out there, but I don't know. I think if you're a personal friend with them and you're involved in some of this shit, that you're going to know that's not your friend. And you're going to know, like, your days are numbered. It's just what I think. But, so, that can all go real quick. In California going at the same time, like all of that stuff something's going to flip things the other direction. That's what I know. I mean, whatever's going to all of a sudden wake people up. It's going to be, is it going to be California? I think it's going to be more the bank and the money thing. I think these tragedies are going to just keep happening and happening because it's part of the reset and it's part of the awakening and stuff like that. And, I don't think it's like punishment or something, but, California is gonna be gone. And a lot of Washington's gonna be gone. A lot of Oregon, Nevada, I mean, right after I was just saying, man, it really was like fucking Vegas. Like, let's go out in the desert in this portal from hell. Let's put all this stuff out here and draw them in. So they all come out here and gamble and have sex. And, like, even the motto, what happens there stays there. Like, what? That is not that. Whatever you're doing, fucking universe is watching you all the time. Like, you kidding me? Like, Jesus Christ. But, that is like the portal to hell. And then how they've even represented that stuff in movies. So, yeah, Vegas is going to be under, like, there's going to probably be a lot of portals that are shut that were just conceived in darkness to keep us, in the dark. And so, it's going to, in the transformation. And then also, I saw, what was that? It was some sort of thing, and they were saying when this California thing goes, and something with the water and stuff, but they said that the ice wall will melt. See, that's what I keep thinking too. It's something with the firmament, because it's our bubble. It's like our bubble could exist when everything was like status quo, when everything, we accepted our abuse and we just went through life, dutiful little worker bees. But then all of a sudden, when, a rock got thrown in, and all of a sudden the ripples went out, and we started being like, wait a minute, what are we doing here? Just like in the universal consciousness of, wait a minute, what are we doing here? And so it was like a stage in the development of consciousness again, of, wait a minute, what are we doing here? And then that's the question. That is the motivation for the soul to upgrade, to up level, to expand itself. And so it has to. That's why I keep saying it's the most impactful thing you can do for somebody is get them to question themselves. And funny enough, too, I just heard someone else saying something about that. And they were saying about, maybe it was that empath lady, when she was talking about that, she was saying, because it all is from inside somebody. They have to question themselves. It's all them. We can't be doing anything. And it's like, yeah, it is. It's so true. It is all you. And I've been saying that this whole time. People have to question this stuff for themselves, of what's right and wrong, what's good and bad. They have to find it in themselves and everything is to teach you what it is. So you are fluid through life. You're going in it to learn. And a lot of it is taught to you through what you don't like. Like, I don't like that. I don't want that anymore. And that is kind of like what we're having right now, to kind of motivate us into wanting more for ourselves. But not everybody's at that stage of development that they will be able to do it. That's why I said the people who can, they will be the warriors that create the new world. And to me, I mean, I know that I'm going to be one of those people, because they've shown me and shown me and shown me and told me and told me and told me. And, like that. And to the point, even like if I were to be taken out by any of this, I know that that's still where I'd be going. Like, I know that's what I'm here for. Like, it would make no sense for them to spend so much time telling me about something and then that not to be it. So I trust what they're telling me, but it kind of does show me as a, there is a period of taking nothing and making it something, and I'm good at that. I'm real good at that. I think that it has a lot to do with creators. There'll be a lot of creators that'll be left here. People who like to create, who are excited for, a blank slate, and can, have clear communication of how to get where we need to go. And so I think there'll be a lot of that kind of stuff. And it could be that there will be a separation between places for a while because of the lack of communication when the power goes down and takes down the internet and stuff. If all of these different storms are happening, or if the firmament opens up and the ice walls all go, and we're all, going up to higher land, and because that's definitely would always be the safer place to be, higher land. When the water's coming up, I mean, you just got to go higher up. And so that's what I kept saying. To me, it seemed like if any evacuation starts happening and I have to leave here, I'm going to go up, not go down, go down towards the water, down, get trapped in that is a motherfucking trap, man. The way it's set up, if that's what goes down, it'll be just like in the movies, what they show. But if the power all goes down, like what they're saying, because it has to be, the electrical is toxic. It's going to go with this whole previous system. The rebuilding will be the Tesla system, the Tesla towers, the free energy. And I don't know how that's the thing, is I don't know how everything is going to go right into the things. Like, I know where some of the things are, but I don't know, like, do we have to really go with no power for 10 days? Is this, it's going to be like the electricity goes out and that's it? That's what it showed in that show, Revolution. But I didn't keep watching that show. I only watched the first few minutes of it because it just got too violent. When those guys come in and they start fighting and stuff, it's like, no, that's not going to be the age of Aquarius. It's not going to be violent. It's not going to be, it's going to be way more of just love and gratitude. There's not going to be space for people who are hateful. And that is why through these traumas, what's coming up in you is significant. And, you know, if you're masking what's coming up in you and you're not processing, that will hold you back. And that would be your lesson that you would go in and see, you know, because everything is about learning and lessons and stuff. But, you know, you may not have those kind of lessons at all. You could totally 100% just be here for this one part, and then you're going back to where you came from, and you're done with this whole scenario. But this scenario is not ending. The scenario is continuing. You know, just like the earth continues, the different times, the different ages, the different cycles continue. And just like, you know, at some point, what is going to be up will go back down. And then there will go back into the time of confusion where there was people who, you know, I mean, there's just always going to be earth cycles. I just would say, I don't think it would go back down in vibration, but I mean, it very well could, because it's not really going anywhere. So in the vibration is the lessons, it's the learning. So it can go up in vibration in this part of the cycle, and then go back into the dark cycle, and go back into a lower vibration when beings are in the dark, and when the land shifts, and then they've got all this stuff coming up, and they're like, what was this? Who are these people? You know? And so we're going to be having a lot of that. But, oh, this was a big disappointment, though. This is one of these people I saw talking about the map, and, you know, you need to go and look at the map and see where's a safe place and stuff. And they were showing, because they were doing I think they were in England, and they were doing a big, so they were more focused over there. So Scotland and Ireland are going to be gone. So I guess, you know, I really hope I get to go to Scotland before it's gone, but I guess that's not where I'm going to have, you know, my little farm. But Ireland and Scotland are going to be gone. Most of England, I think there's only like one little part of England that's left, probably some hilly part or something. And then most of Europe was gone. And let's see, Africa is split in two. Then I think there's a lot of changes in the Middle East and stuff too. There's a lot of dramatic changes in in Europe. And so, and look at that. That has a lot of like older stuff. Huh. And a lot of the parts in the land masses that are left in the U.S. are all kind of like our flyover zones. It's not places that have been very inhabited anyways. So I think a lot of the more inhabited places will be gone. And then it will be more of the open space. But even in that one thing where in Alison Cohen, her QA, I sure did enjoy those. Man, that's so disappointing when people just go in and bully people like that. I really enjoyed them. Just because people are like, get all caught up in the day. Like, you gotta let go of the days. Like, they come and go. And then it's us who wants something structured with this time. And time is irrelevant. Time is a concept they created. And so, of course, it's a frustration to us because we want something in a certain time, frame. And it's out of our control. It's universal. It's because we can't see the big picture. We can't see how everybody's being affected. Everything is in change. Everything, how necessary this is to change everything. So it's not just like what we want and desire. And so when in that one where she was talking about, or the guy was talking about, they all lived like in tree houses and stuff, and it was very tropical. And I mean, maybe it will go something like that. Maybe we will just go back and live like tribe people. Like, I'm sure there'll probably be some communities like that. I think it's going to be an interesting mix, I think, because I think it's going to be a mix between not primitive, but very, very advanced, but such different lifestyle than what we would have ever thought would have been something that, like, we were all caught up in the Vegas lifestyle, and to go into something that's so much more subtle is something that you create. You're the creator instead of going into that game. And so that is, there's going to be such significant changes in our life. And the technology is also going to change our lifestyle when we're not going to spend so much time traveling, and we can just get from point A to point B real quick, and our health isn't an issue. And it's just going to be so much different. But anyways, the reason I talk about those so much is because that's what I am here for. I know that's what I'm here for. I'm here for this transition, this part to help people to get prepared for what's to come. There's so many people who think, this is the end, and there's nothing. But I can't go in and tell their soul something different. And if they're wrong, it's because they were supposed to learn that there's something that they weren't listening to in themselves. So it's their own lessons. So legit, there's nothing that we need to do or anyone we need to save or heal or anything. Everybody has to do it for themselves. And when you do, you are so proud of yourself. You feel so accomplished. You feel like you've really done something great for yourself. And so, to me, it seems like, this is Friday, so, I mean, they could still have shit going this weekend. I think now it's going to just keep going, faster. And then it's going to, I'm going to stay hopeful that Joe and Kamala are gone by the 20th. And, I don't know what's going to go down with this McCarthy situation, but he's pushing on something that they don't want right now. And so they could do the vote thing right off the bat. And it could be the whole scenario is to draw attention. Like, well, why would they kick him out for that? Why wouldn't they just show the evidence? It's just to get people to ask the questions. Why? It just makes all the difference in the world. And that's the problem, though, in the awakening, like I've said, is so many people, they get to the one part and then they get scared and then they just stay focused on it instead of continuing the process. But, there's no getting away from the process. It's going to rear its ugly head, so anyways, to me, it can very well be that this is going to keep going kind of slow, but there'll be abrupt changes in every person's life. So we may not feel it as the whole abrupt. At the same time, there's going to be some things that are energetically going to be very abrupt changes. Especially if all of a sudden the ice wall melts and the firmament opens. Like, that will be very dramatic. We'll all feel that. That will be, but I don't know if that's going to go, or if that's still something in our future. I mean, I know that there's an energetic shift, and all of this other stuff with the poles and all that physical aspect of it is the thing that is, trippy. I just know energetically, emotionally, kind of in your life, is whatever direction it's going to be, that is going to be the lights coming on. It's going to be the thing this is going to be dramatic. So anyways, it can keep going in different people's lives. Like, I can just keep playing out slow like this. And until we lead up into the big thing, because I know some big thing's going to happen, the cataclysm, the reset, or whatever. That big thing is going to happen. But we have other things happening. I just don't know how they are all interlinked. I know that they all have something to do with each other. I just don't know how quickly, like, one thing will happen and all of a sudden another, and then, you know, I don't know. That is the thing to you know, just curious about, to just watch as stuff plays out. But definitely, to me, I would pay attention to that map thing. And man, I'm telling you, if I was in California, I'd be leaving. There's no way. There's no freaking way I would be there. I think that it is going to be, I do. We'll see. We'll see. But this could be the end of that whole coastline. And it won't be the whole going back in California. It is the inhabited area. Like, you have some, when you're driving across, it's mostly desert. And so you have like a few scattered little like Needles or something. You have, Needles is a town. So you've got like a few. Even Palm Springs is out in the desert. Something will happen at Palm Springs though. That's got way too much dark energy. Something will definitely happen there. So those, it's mostly not inhabited. That's the parts that are going to keep being left. The places that are really inhabited, like full. Like, man, I would leave Seattle. If I was in Seattle, I'd leave San Francisco. I'd fucking leave New York. You know, I don't know. Maybe Memphis and Nashville too. Like, I would definitely, if I was within 100 miles of the Mississippi, I'd probably fucking head on out. Louisiana, I'd leave. So, you know, I don't know. Because even here, if I thought, because I've bounced back and forth, like, is this place going to be underwater where I'm at? And just in those maps, I looked at her maps over and over and over and over. But you can't see that up close. But you can just see, okay, this little part that's sticking down right there where the mountains are, that's where I would be. So, and there's a chance that I could be still on ground. But it definitely won't be a part of America. I don't know how that'll work. So, like I've said all the time, like, I'm only 15 minutes from the border anyways. So they're just going to be like, yeah, just keep that part. So I don't know. But definitely that whole inhabited coastline of California is just going to crumble and go down underwater. It's going to be fucking horrible and dramatic for so many people. Like, oh my gosh, it's going to be horrible. Like, there's going to be so much fucking death. But that's going to be the same thing if tsunami comes in and hits New York. It's going to be like, and if the fucking Yellowstone goes off, like, fuck. Like, who knows? Who knows what's next? Just keep in mind, I can't do anything to really hurt you. This is all an illusion. We're in a game, and none of this is real. It just feels real. It seems real. People are convinced it's real, but it's not real. So, anyways, just, you know, it's just another day. Like today, the storm's going to hit up there. It's like, okay, so is our power going to go out? Like, it's been raining here nonstop. Yesterday, my driveway was filling up with water. Got little puddles of water. Last time that happened, it was the flood down there where the rivers were all the way over. I ran up to the gas station yesterday afternoon for a quick minute, and the river that it crosses my road right up the road was already, the water was over the road. So, I mean, that will be closed off. I don't know. Besides how many, I mean, even if, every time we just start having roads wash out, trees go down on the roads, and that's their whole thing. That's what they're going to do. And so, I don't know. I guess it'll be starting today, and then they're going to be doing the fucking 200-mile-an-hour cyclone. Like, I don't even know how fast they're saying it's going to be. the wind, mile per hour, I don't even know. But, you know, is it going to be coming and causing another windstorm up here? Like, I don't know. Anything that's getting over here on this coast is like, I mean, 13-hour drive from San Francisco. So, I don't know. I think it seems like it's like 200 or 300 miles. I don't know. I'd have to look it up. Maybe 600 miles. I don't know how far these things are going to reach. I just know that they intend to take out this whole side. So is this the one? Is this the one that we've been waiting for? Sure seems like it's going to do some serious damage. If it's not the one, it's going to change the whole thing over here. So we'll see. But I think, you know, there's no time to worry about that one, because it's just going to be, they're going to be hitting another place. You know, it's going to be one after another after another. So everybody, no matter where you are, you got to stay safe and stay on your toes, stay paying attention, and, you know, stay strong. I swear it is important to just stay out of fear. You know, don't feed the fear, because there's so much of it out there in the collective, and do whatever you can to keep putting out there trust, hope, you know, have faith. And because people are so scared, they're so scared of dying, and they don't realize, like, you're not dying, you're not going somewhere, you're not going to hell, you're just gonna go right out of there. You're just gonna walk right out of that body, and you're gonna walk wherever the hell you want to go. There's not anything that you need to worry about with that. And people are terrorized and scared to death. So, but, you know, there's lessons and everything. So anyways, I'm just going to be here bracing for impact. No, just making the best of the day. I don't know why I find such comfort in the Newcastle After Dark and those movies and stuff. Even those guys, their theme song starts playing, I just always feel like, oh, I love that. It's so comforting. But the older scary movies, I don't know if it's because I watched so many when I was a kid, but there's something about the music, definitely way different music than in the new ones. The new ones, they try and use some unsettling frequency to just keep you like on edge. It's weird. But, you know, they actually had music in the old ones. I just like it. So I think I'm going to watch some more of those old, like, movies today. And just kind of hang out and wait and see what's going to happen. I've got gas in my car. I've got food. I've got wood. And I'm definitely not going to go evacuate whatever they're going to fucking say, if they even start with that. Like, they could just, I don't know. I'm just not even going to worry about it. Just going to make the best of the day, and just, you know, that's the only thing I can say for everybody to do. Just make the best of each day and stay on your toes and stay safe. So anyways, I'll talk to you later, unless some big old thing happens. It seems like I saw something else that I had wanted to say. I can't see it. The big thing is this California thing. I don't know. I just think this could be it, especially after that guy, that scientist guy in 2011, saying that or whoever the hell he was, I don't even know. You can probably find footage. Lots of people are talking about it. But in 2011, how he said there's going to be 3 big storms. Oh, Edgar Casey. Edgar Casey said that too. Was that footage of that guy saying? I'm pretty sure Edgar Casey predicted it too. Was that guy talking about Edgar Casey predictions? Huh. I don't know. But whatever it is, I'm sure you can go out and find it. It's just footage of this 3 storms. It's going to hit California back to back. They're like a hurricane, cyclone kind of storm thing. And then it's going to cause the land to become unstable. And then the giant earthquakes are going to start happening, and it's going to, the land's going to go underwater. So, anyways, to me, all eyes on California. We'll see what happens. And, you know, I mean, Joe's going down as we speak. So, you know, there's going to be some more shit's going to go today. So, things are gonna pick up speed, I guess. I don't know. We'll just have to keep seeing how is all this stuff gonna play out. It's interesting. So I'll talk to you later. Bye.